Hello everyone and welcome to State of the Realm, your weekly Final Fantasy XIV podcast. That's going to probably be my running joke, but hey, we're good 2 weeks in a row after a 1 week break. This week we're going to talk about the obvious topic, the live letter number 54, and also our guest has something, a project they're going to be starting up soon, and we want to give him some airtime to talk about it, and he also really wanted to come talk about Nier. So before he's smiling, you guys can't see it yet. He likes Nier. So I'm one of your hosts, Michael, Mr. Happy Poverum. Of course, joining me is Slyh, aka Slythefox, aka Slyh, aka Greyfox, aka never gets any legendaries in Borderlands 3. Slyh, how you doing?
But I did.
You did. You got a few. We changed your. We turned your luck around.
Yeah.
Proud of you. One day you'll have as much as we do. It's okay. And we needed to bring on someone who was more of an expert in Nier, and it just so happened that he's starting up a new podcast soon, which we'll talk about a little bit later. We brought Larryzaur. We asked Drac, but he couldn't make it, unfortunately.
What a butt.
Yeah, what a butt indeed.
Hate that guy.
But you were able to come, so it's good. We got one of the two people we asked. Both of you.
Yes.
You know, out of both of you. How you doing,
he
Larry?
Doesn't play Nier though, so.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm doing good. I just started my new job, but playing 14, making videos, the usual stuff.
The usual. Always good to have the usual. Excellent. Well, I'm glad that you could join us. We don't have the pleasure of your what's the word I'm looking for? I shouldn't have taken a sip right as I went to use a word. You're here. All right, we're moving on.
I'm here. Hello.
Company was the word I was looking for.
Words. You mean by Drac company?
I meant we don't have the pleasure of your company. The phrase. We don't have it as often.
Oh, I understand.
Yeah, so I'm glad I'm not the only one who's confused at this point. Present was the word I almost said. I was like, that's weird. Never mind. Moving on, before we get started with the show, just a quick reminder, Steel Series does sponsor State of the Realm. I want to say it the other way around, but that's just how it's going to be. We do monthly giveaways for Steel Series. They've been sponsoring my channel for years, and they've been sponsoring State of the Realm for well over a year now. Free giveaways for people who check the YouTube comment section, or the YouTube description, I should say. Go enter there. It's a monthly draw, and you'll be able to pick a prize out of something off the website worth $79.99 or less. Don't have to be in the US, just have to be in any of the countries that Steel Series actually ships to. And with that, we'll be thanking our Patreon sponsors later. We have our Patrons of Darkness as well as all the rest of them. But we won't be reading the names. They are in the top right for anyone who's looking for their name. Now with that, gentlemen, we will start with, as I said, the obvious topic for the show. The live letter number 54 from Tokyo Game Show. And after this one, I want to get your thoughts on this. And Larry, since you're the guest, I'll get your thoughts first. I almost kind of just wish they'd just forego doing live letters at live events from now on.
I can understand that. Yeah. I think this live letter was okay as far as part ones go, because part ones are usually pretty scarce for information. It's kind of just like mostly announcements of we're gonna do announcements in the part two, right?
Yep.
So. But I would definitely say the only thing I really wanted at least was a teaser of the ultimate. And
I put out a tweet when that happened that I deleted the next morning because I knew it wasn't going to age well. I said Blue Balls Ultimate.
Right. Yeah.
I was like, this tweet's not going to age well.
Yeah. I mean, I don't see, I don't know if you want to get into that right now, but I don't see why they couldn't have shown even a, a silhouette like they did with Bahamut.
Well, before we dive into that, I will let Sly answer the question as well. I think him and I have had some discussions about this in regards to live event ones, because not only was it a part one, but live events are always, they're on the show floor, and and how much time they actually have available has to be kind of squashed, I suppose. So they just got to cram things out, like go as quick as possible. So Sly, how do you feel about these live letters after all these years?
Well, in comparison to other live event live letters, I feel like they weren't really pressed for time. A lot of the time was spent with Yokotaro. A lot of time was spent with Okabe talking about the music, which I'm kind of glad that we got Okabe to talk about the music, because we did get the
pretty awesome music that we heard. So I'm not discounting the time, but it still was, to be fair, it still was fluff. And I expected a lot more information out of Yoko Taro being there instead of it just being like, it almost seemed as if they were at the steakhouse talking like they said they originally did. But yeah, in terms of main information, we got what we expected. So I kind of, I agree with you, Happy. I do kind of want them to forgo live letters, but at the same time, we wouldn't get some of the little tidbits that we actually do like, which,
Yeah, and to be clear, I don't think they will stop. And it's not so much that it's bad, because if it's that or no live letter, obviously I'll take this. It's just there's clearly a different sort of atmosphere around it. Obviously it being live, but more so in just what they're willing to talk about or how much they're willing to talk. It just, the special guest, as you said, always gets most of the time. And as much as we wanted to hear from Yoko Taro, I still think that the hour 15 minutes that him, Okabe-san, and I always forget the
Saito?
Saito-san. I can't, I lose a lot when I can't understand what they're saying and I need to go through a translator. Like it's harder for me to sit there and enjoy their hour and 15 minutes of just, chilling and chatting about what it was like to work together.
Right. Yeah, I definitely feel like if we completely understood, like if it was in English, for instance, like just seeing like these two guys that you really admire, like especially like for me too, like a lot of people I'm sure also admire Yoko Taro and Yoshi P. So like just seeing them interact and talk a lot would just be so much more enjoyable if you could understand every little bit that they were saying.
In other words, go learn Japanese.
Yeah.
What else can you do? With that, there are some things to talk about. A few screenshots, a few little tidbits that we did learn about some of the changes coming in 5.1. And since you already brought it up, Larry, one of the most anticipated amongst the hardcore raiders or people who have at least viewed the progression of it on YouTube or Twitch before is the next ultimate fight. That really hardcore challenge that we have been dry for pretty long time now since we didn't get one in 4.5. And they were like, we're doing one and it's gonna be a secret. I was like, no, you can't do this to me. I've waited too fucking long for you to tell me you won't tell me. Okay.
Like it really felt like a Kojima type of thing where he announces an announcement, because that's literally what it was.
I was hurt. I felt personally slighted when
like I don't think I'm going to be doing the ultimate, but I definitely still want to know at least what it was.
So we've had this discussion.
Do you have an idea?
Yeah, that was where I was going with it. Yeah.
Do you have an idea? Do you have an idea or what is it that you would want out of the ultimate?
I mean, the easy answer is Alexander, right?
Yeah.
that's a toss up.
It's probably Alexander, something that I would want. The Fiends is cool.
The Warring Triad. Yeah.
The Warring Triad. Another cool thing that, because I would love a Thornton ultimate, but Thornton by itself isn't enough. Make a full ultimate.
I say that all the time, and people just go, "Oh, just fight all the knights this time." And I'm like, "We fucking did that already." And half of them are copy pastes of the same knight.
Yeah, they're not. It's not enough for only Thornton. So like you could make it, and I don't know if this is too obscure of a theme, but you could make it of like the Nidhogg eyes. So like Thornton was because of Nidhogg eyes. So then Nidhogg would also be in that fight.
And so would Shinryu.
And that's true. And Shinryu. So those three could be an ultimate fight. And that would be really cool. I just don't know if that's too loose of an interpretation.
I don't think it is. I think my hopeful interpretation is actually a little looser, because Thornton's original goal in going to Slyh was to absorb all of the ether that was stored there. And that was the ether of the Warring Triad. So he was effectively going there to absorb the Warring Triad. So my other one is to throw him into the Warring Triad as like
Ooh.
the penultimate like controller of the three.
So kind of like
the ultimate
Ultima, like you
control.
fight the 3 primals,
Yeah.
so like the three warring triads,
Yeah.
and then Thornton.
Yeah.
That'd be cool.
I just think that's too loose. I think the eyes you can get away with. I think this is a little too like, he never explicitly said I'm going there to, because he didn't know what the warring triad was. You know what I mean?
Just doing it.
Yeah, he was just doing it. So it's like too loose an interpretation. But that's, yeah, I think Thornton on his own is just lame.
Right.
And I love Thornton. He's my favorite primal in the whole game ever since he came out.
Yeah, the fight itself is amazing. I just don't think there's quite enough to warrant like a 13-minute fight.
15
you know. Well, how long do you want?
15. 15's the minimum.
How long was
Ultima's
Bahamut?
about 15 and Bahamut's about 18.
Oh, for some reason I thought Bahamut was 15.
I think if you exclude the time you're not actually fighting, it goes down to like 16 and a half or like 16 something. I think really fast groups also get it done closer to like 16 and a half, 17 or something like that.
I might be thinking of that because when we were doing it, it was like after we had gear and stuff like that. So maybe that's why I was thinking it was around the 15, 16 minute mark. That makes sense. So Uwu was like the 15 mark and Ukab was like 18.
But they also said the next one's going to be a lot more like Bahamut. And I don't know if that's because it's not going to have a trick like Woken. Like it's going to be more direct and it's just going to punish you like to hell and back. Or if it's going to be like 18 minutes long.
Yeah. I mean, just adding time to the fight itself adds a whole lot of prog. So, you know, that just kind of either superficially or just artificially just adds more time to prog because it takes more time of better execution. I was actually going to ask you what you guys think of what kind of difficulty it was going to be, but I think they did say that it was going to be kind of Bahamut difficulty, but I don't know. I don't think they said that they wanted to have that type of that long of a fight anymore though.
No, yeah. What do you think, Sly? So let's take the quote. It will be closer to Bahamut. I think that's as close to the exact quote as we got from one of the interviews. It says nothing about time, difficulty, just that statement on its own. How do you interpret it?
A happy medium of time and difficulty.
So like instead of 15 or 18, think like 16, 17.
16 with Bahamut difficulty.
See, now, I guess that this is a whole nother discussion. So, Sly, how do you, when you say like Bahamut difficulty, I mean, how do you really view Bahamut versus Ultima? Because they're both the same difficulty, but like they're so differently designed that like putting the 3 extra minutes aside. Yeah,
design would probably be the better word. Then. Yeah. Whereas like with Bahamut, you feel once you got the gold, you feel like you get the gold and you wipe. You feel like there was time wasted. Yeah,
I know what you mean by that. Actually, I know exactly what you mean by that. Because when you get past suppression on Ultima, you feel like the last 12 minutes just didn't happen.
Right.
When you get to golden on Bahamut, you're like, okay, please.
Your heart is racing.
Yeah, please don't fucking wipe.
Don't wipe. You're the one that causes the wipe.
There's a certain phrase that should never be said in a video game. How does anyone get hit by that? And the lovely phrase of how does anyone get hit by Exaflares should never be uttered by anyone. Mm-hmm. It's you're just begging for bad news bears. The best one is no one gets hit by the missiles and Guardian. Who gets hit by these missiles and Guardian? You're like, uh-oh.
Shut the fuck up.
It's happened to at least one person.
Shut the fuck up.
I interpreted it. The thing that Yoshi P said about like the Bahamut difficulty was like, at least what I think is like the Bahamut difficulty is more mechanically intensive for execution, and then Uwu, I didn't do Uwu past like Ultima. It's more like it's not so difficult execution wise, except for like small portions of it. The vast majority was figuring it out was the difficulty. For Ukab, I would say for a lot of that, the actual difficulty is just executing the mechanic, even if you know how the mechanic works. So what I would hope, and like just like a personal wish, would be for the new Ultimate to be the same type of time frame as Ultima, but with the same execution difficulty as Bahamut is what I would like.
So no gimmicks, no Woken gimmicks or anything.
Well, no, gimmicks I guess are okay, like, you know, just interesting ways to figure things out, like, but I think there's a way that you could combine those things and have an interesting mechanic like that, like how Awoken was, but also be difficult just to execute in the first place, even if you know how it works.
You know, under that interpretation, my version of Alexander in my brain could never happen. Because my version of Alexander, like how I envision an ultimate of that, is a lot more like ooh. Like I Sly's heard this before, so bear with me here. I was like, to start Alexander like at 50% of his like final form's health, but then he sends you back to the beginning of the fight, and you have to like get back to the same point with the debuffs he gives you. It's like you start the fight, he gives everyone debuffs, and you have to get back to that point of the fight with those debuffs.
Oh.
AKA don't cause a paradox or you die.
Yeah,
because all the time stuff.
Yeah,
that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So that's my idea in my head.
Right.
And that's nothing like Bahamut. That's like very, very Ultima weapon, like figure it out like gradually and fuck it up repeatedly and then have to go back and do it over again kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
But
that though.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Like that's the thing. That's why I'm actually like, them keeping it a secret is just so weird that I can't help but not feel like it's Alexander. Like, because that's the easy answer. That's it's like fucking with me now that they didn't tell us.
But we don't have a lot of options either, so it's...
Listen, we got a ton of options. It's just what they want to do.
But could there be like, if we think of it that way too, like, what would be the reason why they would want to keep it secret?
Because it's not like the other two. It's something that is not what we think it will be. But I have a feeling it's just going to be Alexander, where they're just going to be like, we didn't want to tell you yet. Fuck it.
But do you think it's a secret because they're just not ready to show any type of promotional material for it?
A silhouette is hardly like they have to know by now. They have to know by now what the bosses are. You know what I mean? So it's like to not have anything ready is like, it's impossible. These are bosses that have been around for years.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I'm like, are they gonna like Crystal Tower or something? Like, are they gonna take like 24 mans and like pare them down to 8 mans this time instead? Like, is it gonna just be that vastly different? I have a feeling it's just gonna be Alexander and they just didn't want to tell us. I think that's just what's gonna happen, and we're gonna be having this conversation for nothing. But.
Yeah, I think it's Alexander. And then if it is Alexander, it would be the 3 final bosses, right?
Oh, I think they're gonna do way more. I think Alexander is gonna be a fucking trip, dude. I think because he's just gonna open time gates and like bring oppressor missiles in and bring fucking living liquid balls, and he's just gonna open time gates and bring shit.
I would want to include Pepsi Man.
Pepsi Man has to be there.
Yeah, he's so iconic.
Yeah, but I want him to like open up time gates and like bring shit from all the fights, not just like the 3, because no one wants to see Manipulator
we're gonna get
again.
Nisi again.
Yeah, we're gonna. I mean, there was Nisi in A8. It just wasn't the same kind of Nisi.
Yeah.
But everyone wants Pepsi. Everyone wants Pepsi Man. Everyone wants Brute Justice. But then there's like, you can't ignore Arc. Like, there's a lot of fucking so cool. All Thoughts himself is a boss, and he's like the mastermind behind the whole thing. So,
that's true.
There's so many bosses that I feel like need to be there.
Yeah, and Nisi, like I never did Nisi the real way. I did the sacrifice way, where I was on Dark Knight at the time, and I would just like it was so funny because everybody would sacrifice themselves, and I would Living Dead just at the time to take all the tank busters, and like it was such a weird strat because just at the time where I would be dying from the Living Dead, that's when the healer would LB3 to raise everybody that died, and subsequently would also heal me to full to get rid of my Living Dead. So it's just such a strange strat that I kind of would almost want it to be an ultimate, because that's kind of like harder than almost anything that we have in Savage right now. Even doing that kind of strat, a sack strat, I think would be really interesting.
If they do Nisi, I don't want it to be anything more than like the way they did Guardian, where they brought back Allegan Rot, where it's just like a portion of the fight, not hold it for the next 12 minutes kind of thing.
Right,
because
it's a dumbed down version of that old mechanic.
I was like, we progressed all the way to almost a kill the normal way, and then said, guys, it's been 5 weeks, just kill yourselves and let's get this done. All right. That was
on A4, you mean?
Yeah. That was that was the conversation and how it went.
We're like, we're just gonna sec.
That's it. Just die, guys. Just jump into the fucking things.
It makes an interesting mechanic with the healer LB3 instead of just using it on, damage.
I don't want to talk about Gordius anymore. I don't want to talk about it. I got bad memories. Okay. With that, that's probably, I'd say there was a topic a lot of us were looking forward to the most. At least those of us who, like, I guess a lot of content creators were looking towards Ultimate the most. But that's not to ignore the basics that are there. New main scenario quests, I think, after Shadowbringers in particular, is also, even people who aren't normally story people are probably, like, in desperate need of, okay, well, like, really, though, what happens next?
Yeah.
And the only two pictures we have are a new Mo that's dressed like an admiral in the Crystal Tower. And what was the other one? What was the other picture?
I don't remember.
I don't remember either. I should probably pull it up.
Sly
looks like he has it. He's super prepared all the time.
I even forgot that there were two pictures for the MSQ in general.
And the Chai. Dula Chai.
Dulia Chai, yeah.
Yeah, Dulia Chai, yeah. The fat Makote.
Fat cat.
Oh, mom.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, we like her.
No, we don't like her.
Yes, we do.
No, we don't.
Love her.
No, she's killed so many people.
But she's a nice lady.
But
now.
she's killed so many people though.
She loves Alphino, and we love Alphino, so therefore we love her.
No.
Okay. All right.
I'm gonna respectfully disagree with that. Oh man. So yeah, there's that. There's so many things that I feel like need to unfold. Now is the beginning of, I think, the most important aspect of the future of 14 is they need to make us give a shit about Elidibus after everything that happened with Emmett Selk. That's going to be a tough task.
Elidibus is so boring compared to.
Mm-hmm.
But to be fair, before Shadowbringers, I thought Emmett Selk was, what's
Arden?
the word? What?
Arden?
No, I just meant like he was stereotypical. Like I was just like, oh, this is the stereotypical bad guy who's just like flamboyant and likes to crack jokes. I was like, okay, but big whoop. It's just a bad guy. But then of course Shadowbringers comes around. I'm like, okay, Emmett Selk he's grandpa. He's the best guy ever.
Why do you
Now we have grandpa. First we had mom, now we have grandpa.
Yeah,
on whose side of the family?
I mean, he's great grandpa.
Of who? Us?
Everybody.
I mean, technically that's true.
He is the seed whose branches have extended forth. There you go. Yeah, Elidibus is going to be a task. He seems to be like, all right, time to not act like a bitch anymore, with Shadowbringers, but he might still be a bitch. We don't know.
So I have another question on Elidibus because we thought maybe I'm just not understanding this, but with Elidibus, because he has the white cloak, weren't we thinking at one point that Elidibus was more towards the he wanted like all the other Ascians had the black cloak, so they wanted to raise the darkness, and so Elidibus was white cloak, so he wanted to raise the light to restore like a type of balance. But obviously now what we know, that's not the case. So what is Elidibus?
I've got two theories. One is that Zodiark saved the world, and in a sense he is their light, and as his name, the voice of Zodiark, in a sense, kind of like we have the voice of the mother. He represents sort of, he sees Zodiark as the light, and since he's closest represented to him, he's like, it's just his savior, kind of thing. The other thing is just that he's just different from the rest, and considering Elidibus in tactics, straight up becomes, he straight up is like basically none of these are the right words, but he's essentially the vessel for Zodiark in tactics. Like, you literally go into a deep dungeon, find his ass, and he's like, I'm going to use the stone, and then here we go, Zodiark time,
Zodiark like occupies his body.
He's basically, he's basically like guides him in a sense. You don't know that Elidibus is that kind of bad until you get down to the very bottom of that dungeon. And so he's very close. He's very closely related to Zodiark in tactics.
Okay.
So it makes sense that he'd be last, especially.
Right. Yeah, that makes sense.
What about you, Sly? Why do you think he's got the white cloak? Think he just hates everyone else?
No, I kind of went akin to like the words of the father kind of thing.
He's not an emissary no more, though. He's tired of that shit.
But like in the game, they never explain why he has a white cloak.
No. They right now, the only reason we have to believe that he has a white cloak is because he is an emissary, as he is proclaimed. That's the only real guess we have.
Do we know what his rank was in that 14?
He was a speaker.
There you go. I thought that was La Habrea. No, La Habrea. No, we went over this last week. Yeah, when you did the thing. No, you're right. Because you said speaker for La Habrea first, and you realized no.
What in Eorzivia?
Yeah.
So
I got this one right. So yeah.
Interesting. Okay.
I trust Sly with that more than me.
Huh. Yeah, after like I don't know if we wanted to talk about it, but after what we learned today with that short story, like
I didn't get around to that today because of Borderlands.
That's right.
So, yeah, there's a lot of implications that short story brought up.
I got it. I'm not gonna read the whole thing, but I do need to pull up. Last week's was wonderful. Oh, I can already tell what this is about from the fucking name.
The title, yeah, dude, it was very, very, very good. It was the best one. The other three are good, but this one was chef kiss, just amazing.
Yep, I can already divine what that's gonna be. Yeah, I guess I don't really have much to say about it then. Because I haven't read
we don't have to talk about it because it is brand new today. So
yeah. Although I really want to, if I had read it, I'd 100% be making us talk about it right now. I can guarantee that. Well, I have something to do after stream before I go and level my Amara. Yeah. That's good.
Yes, and it's also written very well, which makes me wonder like who wrote these things because it feels like I'm reading a book.
Dude, I could read. That's the thing. I don't want to ever say that because of World of Warcraft getting way too used to writing books. But then I also think like, I could do with more of this. But
I could totally do with more of this.
Yeah, it's such a conflict. I'm so conflicted.
Like I definitely wouldn't want so many books because I wouldn't have the time for it. But if there was like 1 or 2 books of just this, like exactly what's here, I would be like, yeah, I would be all over that.
And luckily, I think with 14, they do it in such a way where there's no way to take it out of the game necessarily. Like, you can't remove that lore, that discoverability from inside the game. It's just about when it's relevant to talk about, And it brings a little bit more enrichment. It's not like World of Warcraft where they literally ended an expansion, then made the book that explains how the next expansion begins.
Oh, like as in like it's not integral to understanding the next expansion. Yeah, okay. Yeah, this is just more like all of these short stories and like all of them so far have just been like, if you already like the story, then here's a little bit more. Yeah.
And that's why, because they actually made a book of all these short stories, like I think a year or two ago, and then they included 4 more, when they do release it, they're including 4 more that are not on the website. And I don't know if that book was already out because I actually don't know what the other 4 stories were if it was already out. But I remember them talking about that for a bit.
Is that only in Japanese?
Probably, but I don't remember. This was a while ago. I remember them mentioning it, but it's just I kind of just forgot about it till now. Talking about it now, I kind of got to go research that and see what it was, what it actually ended up being. Next up, we had the new Beast Tribe quests. Now, for anyone who has not been following the fan festivals before Shadowbringers came out, they revealed the 3 Beast Tribes would be exploring quests with would be the Pixies, the Numo, and the Dwarfs. And we got our first one, and it was the Pixies, which I think Sly locked in after I had said I'm going to go with the Numo. Just because I feel like I want to know more about the Numo before I want to know more about the Pixies. So that's 1 point Sly Jesus right there. Which one did you think we were getting first, Larry? Which one was on you? Which one of the 3 did you want first?
Which were the 3 again? The Pixies,
the Numo, and the Dwarfs.
I would have liked the Dwarfs just because.
Yeah, me too. Especially when we get to talking about Nier later.
That's true.
Yeah, and it looks like we're going to be following around a Dumbo Porksy with a hat. And that better be the mount.
I've never really done too much of the beast tribes. I probably should, but I always felt like I always automatically assumed that a lot of the beast tribe stuff is also tied to gathering crafting, which I guess maybe like half.
Usually
of it
only
is.
one. Only one
per expansion.
Let's see.
I remember
What's the question?
Like how many of them are tied to crafting gathering?
One.
Crafting and gathering.
One. It's the Ixal, the Namazu, the Mughals, and then I'm gonna guess the dwarfs.
Okay. I should probably do them. I haven't done any of them at all in the entire game. So
there's a lot of great lore behind a lot. The Ixal I didn't finish.
Yeah.
I had to look up the rest of the lore because I got so tired of the Ixal. But a
Was that
lot
the
of them have
crafting
pretty
one?
good lore. Yeah, that's the crafting one.
right. Yeah.
They've changed it a lot. It's a lot easier to do now. But
Okay.
either way, there's a lot of very interesting lore. The Namazu so far were my favorite crafters gatherers because those little fuckers are hilarious. So get to the
Yeah.
Enlightened has my heart.
It's definitely good for the world building, I would say, right? All
Yeah.
of the beast tribe stuff.
Yeah, and also the finale quests are good little. There's a little bit of lore involved in them, but for the most part, they're just a fun way to have them all interact, and it's kind of like it's more lighthearted, and I kind of like that. That's why I like Hildebrand so
It's
much.
it's like the slice of life of
Yeah.
Final Fantasy 14.
Yeah, there's a conflict, but it's like you clearly know the outcome, and it's not going to take very long to get there. They're just
Right.
fun.
Right.
And you get the friggin' Vanu Moogle dance combination, which is still a great emote from the Heavensward one.
That's why I gotta do them.
That's
For
a
those
good reason.
dances.
New Chronicles of the New Era quest. That's Yorha Dark Apocalypse. That'll probably take up the biggest chunk, so we might want to come back to that one.
Yeah, we could do that.
Yeah. Instead, we have the next dungeon, which after the quality of dungeon we had in Shadowbringers, I think the highest quality of dungeon we've had overall for an expansion launch. This is high expectations, and they're starting off with some strong visuals. The Grand Cosmos will be the next dungeon, and I'm getting Vault 2.0 vibes.
Same.
I'm like, back to Anor Londo we go. Where do we think this is? Because I can't help but think Yulmore. It's very Yulmoran to me, like very rich and very, very lavish and extravagant.
My chat
I
was
can see
going
that.
crazy. Like, yeah, I could see it too. My chat, just from the name of it, was going like, "We're going to the moon," because the cosmos. I was like, "Oh, you're right," and then it showed the vault kind of aesthetic. I was like, "Oh, I guess it's not the moon."
What if this is on the moon? You don't know that.
Inside the moon, it looks like that. I mean, that'd be great.
Dude, what if the whole moon is just one giant like projection of Elidibus like Amarot is? Who knows?
Dude.
You got way too excited when I said that. You're like,
That's amazing.
yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I guess I would agree. It would be Yulmore if it's on the first, yeah.
Yeah, see, when I first heard the name, I thought, and chat brought this up, I thought it was the Crystal Tower. I thought it was another portion of the Crystal Tower, like the twinning. Some people have in chat were theorizing an observatory, so Grand Cosmos, not so much the location as much as it is representative of what kind of structure it is. So there's a lot of open-endedness to this, but I mean, if they can continue their dungeon design, like I'm so happy with my expert dungeons now. I enjoy doing expert right now. Don't fuck that up. Please don't fuck that up, because I hate hating expert.
Yeah.
So
yeah, and any of the three right now are fine with me. Yeah.
I just wish they'd do more dungeon mounts like Alamigo. I love that. I was like, oh, this is the start of a whole new era.
Oh yeah, because like it's a reason to go back and just grind it out.
Yeah, and they added it in 4.1. I was like, yo, add something to Amarot. Give us what's his name? Give us what's his face?
Emmett as a mount.
No, that's not what I was gonna say. I was gonna
We
say
get part of that, please.
I'm sure there's somebody who's got like a Lalafell sitting on his shoulders, or even better, a Rogadin standing on them.
Yeah.
not even sitting. He's just got to stand on them outright.
Yeah.
Like this. I was gonna say what's his name from Octopath, whose name they use there. The thief from Octopath. They share the same name. My brain's not working today. Therian. There you go. Therian.
Therian.
There you go. The last boss. Therian is a mount.
Oh, that dude.
Yeah.
Therian.
He'd be a pretty cool mount.
He ugly.
He'd be cool.
Him ugly.
That's very not nice of you to say, Larry. How dare you?
That guy ugly. He's got like 5 heads. That's weird.
I see how you feel about quin-headedness. I see.
Mhm.
New trial, which they say secret, but they said it's exactly who you think it is. We're just not gonna say his name, which is really weird because I guess this is because they were in front of a live audience. Because the last live letter, they literally like just started. They didn't care. They just name dropped all the spoiler related stuff. They didn't give a fuck. Here they were like, it's a secret. Like we already know.
We know.
It's Dying Gasp
It's that
Extreme.
dude.
Yeah, it's that dude. Which I'm very excited for because Thornton maintains his spot because both his normal and his extreme music and atmosphere were fantastic. The normal mode is on par, if not better, than Thornton here. So if the extreme is on par better, he's going to take over as my favorite.
Yeah, it's definitely in the running for becoming the best primal ever. Well, not primal, trial.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, we got to do that designation. They stopped saying new primal like ages ago because they stopped being primals with the 4 lords.
They're not essentially primals. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, he's kind of. Maybe he kind of is. You know, sort of, maybe like the way that the magic.
You read the short story. But yeah, so yeah, he's definitely in the running. Just looking at like the normal mode, there's definitely a lot of cool mechanics that you can do. One thing that is interesting is like even in the normal mode, you know how there's like it's that phase that has the circles on the floor and you have to occupy all of them to cleanse the doom. Like they could do interesting things with that, where like you have to do that and then do another mechanic that actually appeared a little bit before then. So you have to make sure that you do that first and then do the other mechanic. And then there's like he's got those pushbacks. He's got those like whole room laser beams.
I can't wait to see the entrapments and people screwing that up.
He's got those. He's got those the tethers with the AoE under you. So like I would assume that maybe like those would persist.
I've been thinking that ever since Bahamut, I always thought the final phase of turn 13, the Earthshakers are going to be permanent. They weren't.
Right.
And I was always disappointed. Still am
like
to this day.
Permanent?
Yeah, like permanent for the last few minutes of the fight.
I would love that.
World of Warcraft does that a lot, and it's something I think we've only done with like Amjagud. And kind of at the very end of Hades, like he kind of like starts slowly like creeping up on the whole arena. But never like player placed AoEs that persist forever.
Yeah, turn 10 and Coil was really good with that because it like the longer the encounter went on, the smaller and smaller and smaller the arena you had to deal with all the mechanics.
Yeah.
Like that's really cool. I would like that a lot.
Yeah. Well, I'm like I said, I'm more referring to player dropped AoEs persisting. But like they still don't do arenas like closing in like 10 very often anymore.
Yeah, they don't even do that.
Yeah.
But like if it was like a combat, like essentially because of they persist, you have to drop them all on the outside, and then so they persist, and then you have to go in a little bit, drop them all on the inner outside like that. And
yeah, you know it's funny.
Your whole arena.
Chat's bringing up turn 10. I've tested it. In turn 10, the circles do disappear. It's just you kill it so fast that the 3 or 4 that you get are gonna persist. Small hard mode was this lava scorpion where he like jumps to people and creates the lava puddles that grow every time he does it again.
What? Turn 10?
No. I said small hard mode. Sorry. Let's say small hard mode.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah, those persist a little bit.
Yeah, they do go away eventually, though. It's just you kill the fight in like a minute and a half, so they stay the whole fight. Right. All right. And then fucking secret my asshole. The third ultimate difficulty fight. Secret. How many circles are there?
Gas, but not be a spoiler.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 circles. How many are in the Dying Gasp? On Dying Gasp, also 9 letters. It doesn't work the same. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Did they even do it like
10.
that?
Oh no, I'm just counting because there's 10 characters in the new trial one. There's only 9 circles in the ultimate one. You know how many letters Alexander is?
ALEX.
I didn't. Okay, he's counting. God damn it. Hate it. Hate it. Job adjustments. They already talked about this in the previous live letter. They did confirm that ranged will be getting a slight buff, which they kind of hinted at in the last one, but they were trying to be careful. They said we got to be real careful with Bard in particular. They were very fearful of Bard reaching a point where it was considered mandatory over everything else. How have you guys kept up with what people have been saying about job balance? You guys kept up with it much?
Yeah.
You like Summoner, so you probably know all about it.
Well, in raid right now, at least for my group, like we're just super casual. But
yeah,
in my raid right now, we raid once a week, and I'm actually raiding on Samurai with them because we needed a melee. So I'm actually not playing Summoner right now. But from my understanding, the melee role right now is super unbalanced in terms of like probably the most unbalanced it's ever been, really. I think they're all very different to each other. And then for casters, like it's so strange because like if I was a summoner right now, I would probably very heavily be like, I probably just do Black Mage.
Seems to be what most casters are saying. They're like, fuck it, I'll just play Black Mage.
Like it does like 1,000 DPS more.
It does more.
Like, well, on average, like at least 1,000 more.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
like a top summoner versus a top Black Mage, at least 1,000 more. And it's like, does the raise really matter to lose that on 1,000 DPS at least?
The biggest point of conversation in regards to Black Mage versus Red Mage in particular was, think about this. Your Black Mage could be performing at 50% efficiency and still be as good as a top 5% Red Mage.
Yeah, that's dumb. That's stupid.
Now, we're not saying half as much as that, like 8,000 DPS versus 16,000. I'm not saying it like that, but like what the 50 percentile is on FF logs. It suggests that level of average performance. And
like a Black Mage losing cast, losing uptime, running around, not casting anything.
Dude, Black Mage is the most mobile caster of them all right now. Fuck.
Yes. Summoner is so immobile. Like, what the hell? What happened?
Yeah, it's a bit of a mess. I think they really need to nail this one, job adjustment wise. Meanwhile, Sly's like, dude, Dragoon, just don't touch it.
Dragoon is at such a good spot.
It is.
It's been for such a long time, and as long as they don't fucking touch it, like he gets mad whenever they add something to it
because you're not asking and they do it anyway.
Yeah. Like I'm like, okay, it's nice, thank you, but
dude,
literally every show since 2.4, I think, is like me playing a job and going, man, they should do this, that, this, and Sly's like, I don't like clicking people for Dragon's Eye, and I'm like,
here you go,
ooh, and he's like, oh, I have a macro for that. All right, fine, whatever.
Now you can use it on yourself.
Yeah, you can be a greedy fucking bastard and like not care about other people's DPS and give it to yourself. Yeah, that's fun. Even though it's still.
Yeah.
When my Dragoon does that, I get so mad at him. I'm like, what the fuck are you doing?
You want to know who's been getting mad at me? Who's been getting mad at me? Right. So Monk is like, please stop dance partnering me. And I'm like, why? And they're like, I just want to see my normal numbers. And I'm like, it shows you on FF logs later, the number that matters. You know?
Yeah, you're like, you see the number, you're like, I know this is like 15K right now, but I'm not actually doing that. Can I please just...
Meanwhile, our ninja was like, oh, I'm doing 15.3K. Cool.
Oh, God, that makes me sad as a samurai.
I mean, I've seen a samurai do like 18K on E2. He was padded
the
to
whole
all fuck.
time.
He was padded to all fuck, but you know,
Okay,
he's like dance partner with a ninja in the group and a red mage for Embolden.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like,
so when you upload it, it's like, okay, 14K.
Yeah.
Right.
Essentially, yeah. So it ends up being about that. Yeah. But yeah, Ninja's in actually a really good spot right now. It just still sucks to play.
It's so good. Like the ninja buffs like made it so like samurai's on the bottom of the melee.
Samurai's ready to sit on that sword because that's how fucked they are.
Yeah. They're pretty fucked.
Yeah.
I'm playing samurai, but it's fun.
It's fun.
I'll just play it.
It doesn't matter if you're either good. I always say you're either good enough to beat the raids or you aren't. It's the bottom line.
Yeah.
That's all it comes down to. Sly, speaking of which, how's those pugs going?
Fuck them.
What are you on? What do you want right now in pugs?
3, right?
3. Yeah, but I haven't had time since Iceborne, so.
Iceborne, Borderlands. You had a new game come out today, too. Didn't 2 new games come out for you today?
Yeah, the Somnium Files, which I'm not getting till Thursday because I'll be playing Iceborne and Borderlands tomorrow. So yeah.
Nice.
But yeah, fuck people. People fucking like it started. It was okay until WoW Classic, and then people just forgot how common sense works and like, oh, all the good players left for fucking WoW Classic. What the fuck is going on? I'm like, it's not the reason, but.
You were just bad anyway.
There you
I'm
go.
using that. I'm using that.
You were just bad anyway.
You were just bad anyway.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Wow.
My raid group is we're on Leviathan right now. We're super casual.
Yeah, doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But see, you're playing with
It's like
people
I'm at
you want to play with.
Yeah,
Sly's not.
yeah, I want to play with them. So
Yeah. I'm at the end of the fight. It's just people. Every group is like a roll of the fucking dice.
yeah, you gotta like reprog every time.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh man.
makes sense.
And I know I'm never going to get like good numbers because it's going to vary from run to run because of rando Calrissians.
Rando Calrissian.
Yeah, like
What?
messing up the
No,
stat.
wait. We need to unpack that. Did you?
Yeah, I called them rando Calrissians. Yeah.
What does that mean?
Yeah,
What is a Calrissian?
it's Star Wars. Lando Calrissian.
Lando
Oh,
Calrissian.
oh.
Rando Calrissian.
I see. That's very clever. I like it. That's clever.
Sly, you just don't get the right to hate me for mine. You just don't. All right.
What are you reading on right now? Happy Dancer?
Yeah.
Is it fun?
I have a lot of fun with it. Dude, every time I play with a black mage, I'm his ethereal manipulate like pylon. And just like he's just like go there, go there, go there.
Oh, you're like the taxi?
Yeah, I'm the
Like the
taxi.
taxi service?
Every time he needs to go someplace, I'm like, I'll be there.
ahead of time so that he could get there in time.
Exactly.
The server delay. Yeah.
Because I can just yeet my way across the arena in like 2 seconds.
Right.
So.
You could be like, I'm over there.
I went off the edge once by
Yeah.
accident with that. It wasn't great.
Okay, because it's a fixed distance.
It sure is.
Yeah. Dancer seems fun. I haven't
Yeah.
really gotten to play it at any game yet.
Most people just meme on it, but my logs last week were pretty good. They were okay, at least my personal logs, but they could be a little bit better. I can do like 12, close to 12K on some fights, personal. Which
That's
isn't
that's good.
just not, yeah, it's not too bad. But and then you have Eden, which is a disaster.
I think
Yeah.
I'm around like the 14s on Samurai, so yeah.
Yeah.
That shit, that's good.
Excellent. Next thing, so this was my low point for the live letter. This next one. Updates to Blue Mage.
Hmm.
So
I agree.
yeah.
So just to start, I enjoyed Blue Mage when it came out because I actually got to play it more with the way it was designed in those 2 weeks that I played most jobs the whole expansion.
Hmm.
That being said, I said there's not enough things to do on it, and they kept saying there'll be more. We'll add more to Carnival or add new content for it. This was not the answer that I was looking for. So level cap's going to be increased to 60. Most of us had guessed that would be the level cap. They stopped that for this because I think they'll go to 70 in 5.3 and then stop there until the next expansion. New job quest, cool. That's new story about the new world. I'm always down for that, and the more like Native America style tribes that live there. New Mass Carnival stages. I think the Mass Carnival was amazing, and it has the most interesting achievements that we have in Final Fantasy XIV because they are actual conditional based achievements, even if they're really simple to pull off.
Mm-hmm.
Then we got to the new thing.
New? Question mark?
That's kind of the theme with Blue Mage, other than the Carnival. The Blue Mage log. Form a party with
Wondrous
fellow
Tales?
Blue Mages to complete specified duties. Receive various rewards, including allied seals and Allegan tomestones. Certain duties will offer bonus rewards that change weekly.
Okay.
That's
spells for Blue Mage.
Yeah. It's it's Mass Carnival, but for dungeons, effectively.
They told me that they were gonna put hardcore content for Blue Mage. That's what they said.
You know, a Blue Mage can solo every level 50 dungeon right now. They don't even need the other 3.
Yeah.
And
That's
you're
what they
telling
told.
me I'm gonna do this? This is no.
They said specifically. I remember it was in an interview. They were like, "We're gonna put some hardcore Blue Mage stuff. I think you're gonna be surprised."
I'm surprised. All right.
What's the hardcore Blue Mage stuff? What? I thought they meant like a hardcore mass carnival or something.
I thought they meant content.
Yeah, like something new that's hard.
There's not, and still no mention of Palace of the Dead fixed parties, which has been a big question mark.
If it doesn't do that, it's dead to me.
Yeah. That's my ultimate feel. If they need to at least acknowledge whether or not they're doing it in the next live letter for me. Like, it needs to be like a sentence, just like you will or won't, because at least then I'll know immediately how I'm gonna feel. Yes.
Like, if they don't do it, it's like, why didn't you? Because there's no reason why you wouldn't. It's Blue Mage is literally the perfect job for Palace of the Dead style content. So why wouldn't you put it in there? So therefore, if it's not, why?
Sly, I'll say this to you. I suddenly agree with your decision to not finish the Blue Mage log. After my 108 Shiva extremes to get my one spell.
I gave up after 8 fucking what?
Leviathans? Titans?
No,
Garuda.
Yeah, it was Garuda. I gave up after 8 fucking Garudas.
I got one Garuda. That's it. I just got Garuda.
Garuda took me 4 tries, Titan took me 1, and the rest and Leviathan took me 10. Every other one's like at least 80.
Yeah, I didn't do the rest. Oh, I haven't gotten the rest. I did all of them, but I haven't gotten them.
Valen's asking me, how many 1,000 needles to kill Ifrit hard mode solo? 372. I know because I soloed it.
And you kept count.
Well, he has 371,000 health. 1,000 needles does. Yeah, although I hit him a few times with a few other abilities, so he technically takes less than that. But I soloed turn 10 in Ifrit hard mode as Blue Mage. I'm turn 2. Sorry, turn 2, not turn 10.
Yeah, sounds fun.
Yeah, it wasn't. Just putting that out there. This to me is not what I needed to hear about Blue Mage.
Same.
I'm just not excited. It sucks.
I needed definitely like we expected and we knew about the in 5.1 that they would be putting the 60 level cap and new spells, so we already knew that part. But what I was expecting and hoping for was either like more mass carnival to the point of like they were harder and more interesting mass carnival things, or like some type of other new content, or I don't know. Just hearing that it's essentially do some dungeons and you get some tomes, it's not very promising.
Yeah, maybe they just didn't tell us, didn't word it properly. Maybe it's crazy, man.
Maybe.
It's not, but like maybe it's crazy.
Yeah.
I don't know. I hope there's something there they just didn't think to tell us. Like maybe there's like modifiers and shit with like the weeklies like there are for the mass carnivals or something. I don't know.
That would be cool.
That would be cool. I still probably would be disappointed, but it'd be better.
Yeah. It's just it's definitely a lot of development time to add all this stuff in. So it's like if it's bad, it's like
is it though? Like at this point, how much did it really take for them to make the Blue Mage law?
Well, just to level 60 in the spells and the job quests, right? Like, wouldn't that be at least?
Yeah, but those things I'm okay with.
Those
things I'm okay. Like I had fun with Blue Mage in those regards, but it's what to do with it after, in conjunction with it.
Oh, okay.
It's like Blue Mage log is not high effort content. It's here you go, more weekly Blue Mage for your Blue Mage stuff.
Right.
trying to create reasons that most people don't need. People don't need allied seals that much, and people don't need tombstones that much.
No.
Some do. Some are desperate, but not enough for this to be their answer.
If you put like glamour in the same thing with PvP, if you put specific glamour that you could only get from this content, then people will do it, even if it's bad.
Oh wait, I just caught that. I just caught that. I was like, even if it's bad. Yeah, I was like, even if it's bad, wait.
Yeah, even if it's bad. No, not just Garo. I mean, literally, like if you put feast, not just PvP, the whole PvP, but just feast and also blue mage content. Even if it's bad, if you put specific glamour rewards only to those things, people will do it to get that glamour.
I just like that PvP and bad, considering what we're transitioning into next, seem to fit
PvP
really well.
Disclaimer, I like PvP, but it's bad.
God damn it. That's a shirt. Anyway. So PvP is the next thing they talked about. Some pretty substantial adjustments to PvP actions. They touched upon that in the last live letter, if I'm not mistaken. They said they were adding a few actions to some people, and they were restructuring a few things in regards to like the actions you can select as well. However, the thing I've been waiting for 4 years now is finally happening. Yes. Another Seal Rock map. Even though it's not technically Seal map this time, they're calling it Seal Rock 2. But it's the Donshig Nadam.
Say that sometimes.
Donshig Nadam, Donshig Nadam, Donshig Nadam.
What is that?
The Nadam. Yeah.
Is
Danzig,
mother. Like that thing, that battle thing that they do over there.
Yeah, it's what we did in Stormblood.
Yeah, the solo instance where you like walk through the Ozim step and you have to claim that circle.
Right.
Yeah, that is a PvP mode in a place called the Ansal Hakair.
Can we call it King of the Hill?
Yes.
Okay, that's what it is.
That's effectively what it is. Seal Rock's my favorite PvP mode. It's the most fun I've had PvPing in 14. It's the only one I'm willing to tolerate getting 24 people or 72. And so I'm excited. And I know Sly's it's not his favorite mode because he's wrong.
What's your favorite?
Shatter.
What? You like striking dummy?
Y'all some bitches.
You play striking dummy PvP? Who can hit the striking dummy harder?
Y'all some bitches.
Larry, man, the way you delivered that was cold.
Yeah, I get it. Because it's in ice. Because it's in ice.
As he sips on his water.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I get it.
I still want fucking Capture the Flag, but Seal Rock 2 I'll wait for. I'll keep waiting. That's it.
You can't have Capture the Flag because then the Black Mage would just ethereal manipulation. And the ninja would just sweet what is it called? Their dash 3 times.
Sweet is just Shikuchi.
Not Suitan. Shikuchi.
You understand PvP actions are different than PvE actions, right?
They have Shikuchi. Oh no, they don't?
They do, I think, but they're not like it's not like there's not gonna be a way to stop them.
Okay, fine.
Right. Dancer takes the flag and just goes
yeah, 3 dashes. Back home, bitch.
You're acting like the flag is 3 dashes away. It's gonna be it's not gonna be like 2 kids in their backyard trying to play Capture the Flag.
But that's how I played it.
There's like a field between the two, and there's like low points and high points and different entries.
Train you gotta capture. Speaking of that, this mode they need to keep simple. Keep it simple. They need to not put a whole bunch of extravaganza in there because that's what makes it difficult for people to join in and just get in there and just play.
I want to Capture the Flag. There's a flag, go get it.
Simple. Same thing with this new mode that they're putting in. It needs to be simple.
And no PvE. I'm tired
No
of PvE
PvE.
VP.
No-
I'm tired of PvE
yeah.
VP.
Right, which is what shitter is. So yeah, so it has to be simple. Just you go to this point, you kill
So
everybody
Cardinal
there.
Flats wasn't bad.
Yeah, it was bad. You go to that was bad too. You have to go to the point, kill everybody there, capture the point. That's it. I don't want no control this thing to get some train bullshit. I don't want no control this tower to be able to summon a mech with the train over there.
What's
None of
even
this complicated
trains?
stuff.
Relax.
There was a train in some
In one of them.
I didn't even play that mode, dude.
That was the second Astrologos
We
map.
didn't either. We didn't either. It's okay.
It was bad. So yeah, that's what I mean. I just want it simple, like be able to explain this in like one sentence, and then it's good. That's how you make a good PvP mode.
I agree. Yes. Sly, you gonna try Seal Rock too?
Yeah, I'll try it.
All right, good.
I like them.
He's gonna love it.
Good. I'm glad. And then you'll never go back. This is gonna be the only PvP mode I regret them doing the rotating PvP mode for, because like, no way I PvP on a day that's not this or
the roulette.
Yeah, there's no way. I have to do. No, like if I want to like queue in like back to back, because they funnel everyone into the queues now. There's like you have to wait for a day. That is that map's day. So
what was that new PvP mode called? The one with the train?
Rival Wings.
It was Rival Wings. Yeah, it was the second map. It was the second map of Rival Wings.
Not Rival Wings.
No, Rival Wings.
Wings.
No, well, so Rival Wings has two maps. It has Astrologos. What's the other one? First one's like Astrologos, and the second one is Hidden Gorge. Yeah, and the second one is Hidden Gorge.
I hated that one.
Yeah, me too.
That one was
train.
Yeah.
Yeah, Hidden Gorge. Hidden Gorge is the second Rival Wings map. That's the one with the train.
Yes, it got too complicated.
Yeah, there's a train. We got
it. Keep it simple. Get on the payload.
Yeah, there you go. Thank you, Team Fortress. Anyway, and now Overwatch. So New Game Plus was also briefly mentioned, but they didn't tell us anything we didn't know, except for the confirmation there will be no quest rewards, which we had kind of figured, but no quest rewards reads no EXP, which it is consistent with things Yoshida said in interviews about saying it's just for replaying the story without making a new character. How do you feel about EXP, no EXP? What boat are you in for that one, or what train are you on?
I was hoping there would be a piece of glamour at the end.
I feel like there might be an achievement. Like I wouldn't be surprised if there was an achievement for completing like all the chapters. Yeah,
like just a shirt. I don't know.
A shirt.
Just a shirt at the end.
I finished it again.
Yeah, I beat New Game Plus twice. I cried twice. I don't know. I wish there was something. If there's nothing, then I'd probably still end up doing it. But the reason why I wanted to do New Game Plus was to start from A Realm Reborn. So I completely understand why A Realm Reborn is not in there, because they're working on it still, and they don't want to have to, take it out and re-edit twice and all those difficulties that are associated. So I completely understand that it's not. But that said, I'm probably going to wait until it is there, because if I'm going to do it, I'm going to want to start from A Realm Reborn, the very beginning, all the way to the end. So
I will say I really liked the way they set up the chapters, and they've changed some things. Last time they told us you'd have to do the whole like expansion from the beginning to the end, and now there's like chapters and checkpoints and stuff like that. So it's actually done. It was done reasonably well. It looks like a New Game Plus, like a stage select or a chapter select screen from a single player game.
The UI looks really, really good.
It's clean.
It's clean as fuck.
Oh yeah. But I don't feel like we need more experience points in the game, but I also feel like there are some people who just want to be on rails to level, as opposed to spamming just one thing or one concept over and over without fail. So I still kind of hope they eventually decide to throw experience points, just give the base experience point reward like they had. Literally the same experience value, just put it back there and just add the quest in again. But maybe by 5.3, when A Realm Reborn is in there, maybe they'll have done something like that.
Yeah, I don't think there's any harm in putting it, because no, maybe there would be if you had, like, because obviously the story is the best EXP that you can get.
Well,
So maybe
it's
if it
not
was
the
like,
best so much as it is. It's the most straightforward. I level a lot faster, 60 to 70, after I'm done with the story, because there's no like quest rewards don't scale with armory bonus regardless. So assuming I did those quests again, but I have armory, but I'm just doing the quests and not making use of the armory, I can do say, like a 10 level range in like 6 to 7 hours.
mm-hmm.
I can't do the story in
concern.
6 to 7 hours,
Like, if you just went through New Game Plus and you just skipped all the cutscenes, like, wouldn't it be a concern if you could do that faster than how long dungeons would take you?
I think with the ability to fly, it's a potential, because that's one thing you don't like. When you're going through the story, you do not have the ability to fly and teleport everywhere freely. So It's possible. That might be why, but that's also I'm just of the opinion that some people you cannot convince them to do the story again to level. They won't, especially a Realm Reborn of all the places,
Yeah.
And then some people, would love to do that. It's just an option. I don't see any harm in it presenting an option.
Yeah. No, I think it would be cool if it had EXP. I would just definitely be concerned if it was the case where if you skipped all the cutscenes and you were just going through the story, if it was significantly more than if you were to just do dungeons, because then the best way to level would instead just be go through the story over and over again and just skipping cutscenes. And so you wouldn't ever have
Listen, after Palace of the Dead being as good and Heaven on High being so good for all these years,
that's
if
true.
something else is spammable, fuck it.
That's true.
We'll do it.
You're right.
Sly, how much have you even suffered through Palace of the Dead or Heaven on High? Because I actually haven't very much. Like 4 times.
Not much.
Yeah.
Not much.
I've avoided that train every time. It's only new expansion jobs I ever have to do that for. And even then, I don't do it sometimes.
I've never done it. Like
Bless your soul.
The first 10 floors or whatever, and just spam that, you mean? To like level? Yeah, I don't really do that. I don't like that. So I guess it doesn't really hurt if they add EXP to it. I don't see a reason not to.
Yeah. I mean, maybe they will, maybe they won't. We'll find out.
Yeah.
I could have swore somebody said in an interview that he said they hadn't considered it, but they're seeing like requests, and now they're like, I can't. I'd have to find the source. I don't want to say that was said without a source, but I remember people talking about that. So we'll see. Now, crafting and gathering changes. Wow, I was all smiles for what they talked about here.
All smiles, but there's some things that I'm like,
don't talk to me about desynthesis. Let's talk about the good things.
No. Yeah. It's some things I'm like, why?
All right, Sly. Well, then, Len, I'll grab your opinion on this. So first, let's cover what's happening. There are changes planned for both 5.1 and 5.2, and the idea is to lower the barrier for entry while still ultimately having the same kind of gameplay.
Could it get any lower?
So it could, because 1 to 50 is a monstrous task in the current crafting landscape. It sucks.
Is it?
Yes, 1 to 50 sucks on 8 different crafters. Yes, 50 through 80 is not bad. 50 through 60 is probably the worst of 50 to 80, and it only gets easier the higher you go. But with only 100 leave quests, if you're trying to do anything but that for 8, and right now in the current landscape, everyone tells you level everything to 50, and then pick, then if you want to level them after that. Like, it's effectively, imagine Sly. You're playing the game, you have your Dragoon at 80, and for your combat job, you now have to do all 80 of these levels. And you have to do that for all the combat jobs. Like, that's how people feel when they get their first 80 and then they see all the other jobs. Like, massively overwhelmed by it. Then you have crafting and gathering on top of that after they've already done that for their combat. It's a lot. It's just one of those things that just, as time goes on, gets worse and worse for people who are new coming in. That being said, they are going to be changing up actions, adding some new content, as we know, the Holy See of Ishgard. For crafting, actions will be adjusted. Additional actions of the system being removed, which means there has to be a lot of adjustments, because there's at least a handful of actions that are still really important in terms of cross additional actions. But for me, the recipe trees. Oh my
The
god.
recipe tree is godly. When I saw that picture, I'm like, thank you, fucking Lord.
Because that helps you with all the third-party websites, right?
Yeah, all those third-party websites are like,
shit.
although I gotta say, some of those third-party websites allow you to make entire lists and like compile entire like, you know, if I want to make a whole set of this, I need exactly this many of these many materials. There's still a lot of things those websites do that you can't do in game.
Right.
Okay.
Just
So
to pay
like
respect to
FFXIV
Garland rules.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, it's just there's still things. So as much as it's funny to joke about like taking their jobs with you know adding this, I'd say that those websites still offer way more services than a crafting tree does. But the crafting tree is a great in-game tool for what you need to do for crafting,
as opposed to it not existing at all.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Now-
they give us an oh no, Sly, go ahead.
I'm sorry. Before like you get to that UI, in regards to UI changes to be more informative and easily accessible, as opposed to now when it is. And
But it's 1 to 50 is not. It is terrible 1 to 50. It is. Sly, you haven't done it in ages.
yeah. What craft? I mean,
1 to 50.
Oh yeah, 1 to 50 is shown.
1 to 50 is fucking terrible. And people are like, just do Ixals. I'm like, fuck the Ixals and their stupid gloves. They have to craft their stuff with a glove on. It used to be worse. It's better now, but I don't.
Sounds bad.
Yeah, it's not. It's not. They just don't have the same options. Like I'm hoping Ishgard's easier, but this is a big part of it. There are so many fucking actions that a new player gets, and they're like, I guess I need that. I guess I need that. I guess I need that. And then someone's like, no, you don't. Pretend all that shit doesn't exist. So they just have like, it's like you have more actions than like fucking Summoner on Larry's hotbar. You have more crafter actions that nobody fucking uses.
I don't. My crafters aren't unlocked.
Wow.
I played this game for 6 years.
Man, you haven't lived until you've been able to meld and repair your own shit. So you're the fucking guy, Larry, who goes in the ring. You're like, oh, I forgot to repair. We have to exit.
No. I repair every time I can. So yeah,
I
am the guy that will be like, hey,
Going to the mender.
Can you meld?
Can you meld?
Yeah.
Yeah, these are things that really need to happen. They're just cutting back on a lot of the stuff that's like, it was kind of cool and it was kind of interesting when it first came out, but it just hasn't aged well. Like with crafting, you know, certain items being, oh, wait, hold on, that they threw a gathering thing in the crafting thing. That confused me. Adjustment to quick synthesis rates, you know, getting rid of all those bonus actions, the display tree. Yeah. Unfortunately, the desynthesis thing they didn't want to talk about. They said, we'll talk more about desynthesis next time. I'm like, what more is there to say? How can you not have time to tell me how fucked I am?
I wanted to talk with Yoko Taro for an hour.
Yeah. They desynthesized his whole fucking body. There's just a head left and a scarf.
That was the preview. There you go.
Yeah.
But yeah, quick synthesis adjustments. Thank fucking Lord, because I usually gather when I'm doing like when I was leveling and it's like, okay, get a bunch of this shit. I usually had to get extra because when you're doing the crafts and you have to do those like 40 durability crafts and like you have the macro, you're not gonna fucking macro each single one. Like I said, fuck that. I quick synth. I don't care how many I lose, but if they're gonna adjust the rate of success, good. Please and thank you.
Yeah. I'm just still thinking about Larry not having any crafter.
Quick synth made me think of the other thing that isn't in any way related to quick synth. What's the thing where you take the thing and you decompose the fish into sand?
Ethereal reduction.
Yeah, isn't that thing that you got to like level and now they're like you don't.
That's
have to
desynthesis. Is that you're talking?
That's
You're talking
That's
about.
what I'm thinking of.
Yeah, that's why I'm upset.
Because you leveled it.
Yeah, he leveled it,
and now it doesn't have to be leveled.
That's their tell us. They'll fucking tell us next month.
That's stupid.
What we're thinking.
I think that's dumb, but I don't.
Thanks.
I'm on your side. If you put in all this work for like a bunch of years and now all of a sudden they're like, hey, that doesn't matter. I think that's kind of dumb. But
Aloha.
Most, I suppose.
Yeah.
What?
I understand this as well.
And then one small quality of life change. Certain items will always be gathered as collectibles.
So
they didn't really
turn
say it. Yeah, they didn't really say it for crafting, but can they do this for crafting, please? Because I'm that one who like either switches to a job and then switches back and then gets to put on the fucking hand and then starts doing the macro and then like, oh shit. Or, hey Sly, don't forget to put on your hand. Fuck.
I've done that.
Yeah, I think that's why they're doing it, because they realized the whole collectible glove thing was fucking stupid.
It was.
Because no one uses those items other than as collectibles.
Yeah, exactly. So why?
What are you laughing at, Larry? What's so funny?
Aloha.
It's funny because like I don't see it as much on the camera for here, but on the stream camera you see it.
Yeah. Yeah, buddy. Gathering's also getting quick gathering, which I'd assume is you essentially dedicate all your hits to one single thing that you can gather, is what I'd assume it is.
Does this work for fishing?
Probably not.
I don't see how it would, so I'm going to go ahead and assume no, because fishing is a whole different world, and my fisher's level 58, so I don't care.
I only fish. That's of crafting gathering. I only have fisher.
Is that why you knew about ethereal reduction? Oh wait, no, you couldn't because
you are a man of culture.
No. I knew about the ethereal reduction because of a Mary short where he was desynthesizing fish and he had a desert in his pocket.
Because of the sand from fish. Yeah,
that's how I knew about it.
Larry, you are a man of culture.
Yeah, sure, if you say so. Also, they're getting rid of the whole like unknown location for unspoiled nodes, because I think they've come to realize that it's the first time you discover where it is. It's like, okay, that makes sense. You didn't know where it was because you hadn't discovered the node before. But after that, it's like, why do I need to figure it out every time if it's going to be in the same fucking spot? It just doesn't make any sense. Like if it was in a different spot every time, it'd be a different story. But lo and behold, it's not. So I'm down with all this stuff. I think it'll all lower the barrier for entry. I guess the big question remaining is, how difficult will Ishgard really be? Because I keep saying Ishgard's going to be like super difficult recipes. They said it's going to be, there is going to be some low level stuff. Like you can even level with it. We don't know exactly the level ranges, but they've also said that there will be super difficult, high, stress recipes that like people are going to be really wanting to make to try and be the top contributor to Ishgard.
Ultimate difficulty crafting.
Like 800 step recipes.
Yeah, 18-minute recipes. I hope you're wrong.
Recipe.
Weren't they like it's going to be the same prestige as getting an ultimate clear?
I don't remember that quote. If you can find it, I'd love to see it, because that's a whole.
Maybe I dreamt that.
Yeah, they didn't give us much more information about Ishgard.
You get an Ukab weapon if you craft it out.
Well, they did say, don't forget that there is seasonal contribution ladders that get unique rewards for Ishgard. Maybe it's that. It's an Ukab. It's an Ukab crafting item.
I say this every time. Oh, sorry, Sly, go ahead.
Oh yeah, no, I was just saying they did say it would be done by world too. So
yeah, that's very cool.
Fair. Well, yeah, I mean I thought that was obvious. I was surprised they even needed to explain that. Like, of course, I figured, of course, what they're not gonna make like a central server point. I thought for the firmament, like a duty finder server point. Yeah. That would have been disappointing for me.
Yeah,
got the world race to rebuild Ishgard. There you go. In 5.5, I guess, like however many patches it takes. Then they mentioned fellowships, but they covered it a little bit more in a few slides. Gold Saucer is getting a new gate, which is the Yojimbo, are you a real gamer gate in the Gold Saucer. Yep. Yeah, he effectively just spawns a shit ton of AoEs. You have to avoid them.
Can you do mechanics?
Yeah.
I can't.
Are you never gonna win? You never gonna beat Yojimbo?
Never.
Damn. I thought you were the legend.
Shit, I bought my clear.
And posted the kill video to YouTube.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
Exposed. Oh man. Also new high resolution Mahjong layout. Cool.
Wow, 4K Mahjong.
Yeah.
Are you any good at Mahjong?
No, I didn't play it. I haven't played it. I played Mahjong like in real life with my friends in high school. I haven't tried it in 14 like at all yet.
Oh, so you actually know how to play?
Like a little bit, yeah. Because the reason why I learned it was because my best friend in high school was Chinese, and his grandma had like a whole Mahjong set that she would play a lot. So I learned how to play it with him and his grandma.
Oh,
yeah,
that's sweet.
Yeah, it was fun, but I forgot a lot of it, honestly, and I would probably have to relearn a lot of it playing it now in 14. So I just haven't done it.
I will never do it because the only time I played Mahjong is when I accidentally clicked it next to Solitaire on Windows. So that's it. And I just clicked buttons until something happened, and I don't know what I still don't know what happened. Then we have performance update. We're basically getting a group post style feature for performance called Ensemble, which will allow you to better sync up actually playing multiple instruments with multiple people.
Yeah, you can do the Cantina from Star Wars.
No, you won't. They've said, remember, Sly not supposed to do non-Final Fantasy music. Larry's devious laugh there speaks a lot to Limsa Laminsa.
They're super close to adding a full-on rhythm game to 14 now.
Yeah, performance assistance feature.
Yeah.
I wonder if they just need it to do two things. One, it needs to say excellent when you do it. And two, when you fuck up, you need some dude going, do you even know how music works? You need some dude like literally ridiculing you. Do you even have legs?
Yes.
Although in this case, I guess do you even have fingers? Would be
like a scoreboard and leaderboard and all that stuff.
Yeah, score AAA on answers.
Yes.
There you go.
That's the next step. They make it a full-on rhythm game. Theater rhythm.
See, I kind of joked about it, but it's like at this point,
just do it.
I mean, people ask them, could you just put Theatrhythm in 14? And they're like, I don't know if that's going to work. That's the next best thing.
Yeah.
We're getting an update to the launcher. How we feel about this new launcher?
6 years with the same launcher feels weird, man.
Sly?
That it's changing.
I said this on Twitter. I'll say it again. To everybody who said, ew, light mode launcher. Y'all some bitches.
Sly, what mode do you play the Final Fantasy 14 with?
Light.
Wait, in game you play light mode?
Yeah.
Interesting. No.
By interesting, you mean
Nothing
fucking terrible, don't you?
No. Nothing wrong with that at all.
No. Use your words. I want your real feelings. Like,
why would you do that?
We are going here. We are going here.
No, I'm not some dark mode snob, but what I will say is I actually do like the look of the new launcher. I think it looks clean, and the design of it is pretty cool, at least to my aesthetic. I like it a lot. Mm-hmm. It's definitely just weird to me how going from being 6 years of the same exact launcher, it's like, why are you changing it right now?
Well, as far as I'm concerned, the launcher is a massive amount of technical debt. Like they're trying to eliminate as much technical debt from 2.0 as they have. Our launcher right now is your default web browser wrapped in a wrapper to make a launcher, which is why sometimes your fucking default Internet Explorer, like whatever they don't even have that anymore. Whatever your default browser is, the settings can fuck with your login. That's why sometimes people have to clear their cache in order to log in because it like fucks with it with the various settings. I am assuming they did not say this, that the new launcher is not a web page and a wrapper, but is a proper launcher, and thus is there's less variables with it. They're more easily able to maintain it, and can probably handle things like, login load and stuff like that during big launches better. I'd hope. Don't know that.
We all hope. It's probably a more feature-rich launcher, I would assume, and not just a different skin.
Watch it literally just be that. I'm gonna be just so sad.
Skin.
It's gonna be like when Twitter changes and you're like, I don't know why they did this.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, like the theme, I'm fine with it. I think it looks pretty cool. It's just definitely a jarring type of thing of like, I've been used to this thing for 6 years and now it's different.
Yeah.
Right.
Which is fine. It's just maybe it would have made more sense to me if it happened at the Shadowbringers launch, but maybe that's what they were aiming for and they just had to push it back a bit.
I'd assume they maybe didn't want it to be stress tested at a launch quite so heavily. Yeah, they probably figure this is a better time to do it, more stable. Then they just rattled off a bunch of stuff before they went back and elaborated on a few things. New custom delivery client, Kai Shear, pet display in the party list, so you don't forget to summon your pet again.
That's nice.
Yeah.
Because sometimes what I'll do is like when I'm playing Summoner is the only way that I can visually see if I have the pet up besides locating it on the map, which doesn't always work very well. I have to actually find it. The best thing that I do is just look at if the hotbar is up, the pet hotbar. So now what I used to always do was just check the party list if it was in there. So it'll just be nice to see it in the party list. It's much easier.
Excellent. I don't play pet jobs too much, so I don't have much input.
Yeah, it's just much easier and cleaner that way.
Nice. Probably my favorite thing, weapon rewards finally being added for the leveling dungeons for Heavensward, Stormblood, and Shadowbringers. Don't know why they didn't do it in the first place, but finally now you can get the weapon as the end of the dungeon reward as you're leveling up. Thank you.
You mean like at the end when they would give you like a piece of gear, now it'll give you the weapon?
Yeah, now you can get the weapon.
Yeah.
The weapon is in the pool of loot, essentially.
Right.
So thank God for that. Bicolor gemstone cap going up to 1,000, which is good. New group post features, and you can eat while sitting.
Wow.
RP.
New Game Plus, we already talked about. They spent a little bit more time talking about the features, reliving your adventures, 1 autosave slot, instance battles will be level synced. And then they got to talking about fellowships, which they mentioned in the last live letters. They were calling them circles originally, and it seems they've landed on the name fellowships. And these are what's eventually? Where was I? Eventually? Yeah, I don't even know. That's eventually wasn't the word. Essentially is what I was.
Effectively and
yeah, I was looking for effectively. Yeah. That was the word I was looking for. There you go. They're effectively like party finders for specific activities with a message board included. Because you can't chat in them. You can post on the message board, but you can't chat in them. And you basically are just able to join it and post party finders that are just look like the other party finders. I think it could be a cool thing. I need to see it actually pan out. Because for me, I see this and I think of like things like Savage and maps and hunts and things like that. Yeah.
Hunts. Definitely hunts.
Yeah. Looking for raid, like a data center wide, like hardcore LFG fellowship, things like that. And I hope that it works out for that, because I think they're trying to get rid of people like using duty roulette expert and shit like that in the party finder to like look for statics, because that's 90% of what it's used for now is people just post whatever shows up at the top of the list, but they're not actually trying to do that activity. They're just trying to find a group or like look for someone to raid that night, and it's just like, it's so annoying.
Right.
I hope.
Yeah, I couldn't really like. I was thinking like right away. I was like, oh, I could make like a channel fellowship. But then looking at all the features, I was like, what would I do with it?
People could post memes on the message board.
I guess so. Yeah.
They could just post the words "ooh woo" over and over again.
Yeah.
Yep. Or the lyrics to a song.
Yeah.
But I also think of things like and chat's kind of bringing this up, events, like even just having a temporary one for events to post like updates about it in game. So a Stage Reborn would be a solid example. If a Stage Reborn was able to post dates and times and servers and reminders of, where it is and stuff, instead of relying on Twitter and the forums and stuff, to have something in game where people can access that information and, if they want to go to it. And then if, other people find out with word of mouth. But I see a lot of potential for it. It seems redundant when you first look at it, I feel, with link shells and free companies already available. But I find that the more I look at it, the more optimistic I am. I just hope it gets used. Because, in
today's day and age with all like the social media stuff that we have, it's kind of hard to integrate a whole new social aspect in there.
You get your club. Get one for the club on Ultros.
Yeah, Allure. Yeah, Allure.
The Allure Fellowship. Oh no. Oh, I just imagine club promoters when I think, and it's like, oh.
Have you seen their Twitter?
Yeah, I have. You've linked it to me.
Yeah.
ERP rings. Oh no, the dark web. The Fellowship of the Dong.
That's what I was gonna call mine. The Fellowship of the
Well,
Dong.
it's a good thing they're not called circles then, because then it'd be called the Dong Circle.
Yeah, that's a little worse.
The Dong Ring. There you go, the Dong Ring. There you go.
Oh god.
There's even like questionnaires. Oh yes, a circle jerk. Circle jerk. There you go.
Chat was making a whole bunch when I was talking about that. They were making a whole bunch of like Lord of the Rings things and being like, "And my axe." I'm like, Summoner. Summoner doesn't use an axe.
I'm sure there's a book that looks like an axe somewhere.
Maybe.
And that pretty much wrapped up the first half, and then they brought on Yoko Taro and Saito-san and eventually Okabe-san to talk about Nier. Yorha Dark Apocalypse, aka Ida. as I'm going with until disproven.
Oh, like the acronym.
Yeah.
I didn't even realize that. Look at that.
Yeah, man. Just trust me. It's that Yoko Taro. It's gonna be, dude. Ida was on the source, right? And she was holding back the Garleans, and they never found her body because she was teleported to the first.
She's been an android this whole
time. But her soul made it and occupied this android. All right, and there you go. All right.
Wow.
That sounds very Yoko Taro. See, the thing is, it becomes more believable when you realize it's Yoko Taro.
Yes, actually.
See? Totally believe it.
You could make it work if you wanted to.
Absolutely. We find out the Crystal Exarch was like, oh shit, I tried that years ago. I forgot. They never showed up. Okay. And now we have this, and we got the name of the first 24-man based on Nier Automata, and it is the Copied Factory. No doubt probably playing off what is it called in Nier, the Copied City. Now, before we go any further, I will say this: Larry is probably the most knowledgeable about Nier amongst the three of us. And as such, he probably cannot control his compulses to maybe mention a spoiler thing here or there.
I'll try.
If you have not played Nier Automata, I probably would either proceed with caution
or Nier,
the original
one,
or Drakengard. Fuck it.
All
babies. Anyway. Yeah, that's all I remember from Drakengard 1.
Fucking song.
Babies. Please beware. Okay?
Song.
As now that we've done the proper now we've done the proper warning, Larry.
It's a little difficult to talk about any of this without any kind of spoilers at all, because there's not much to go on in the first place. But I don't want to super spoil either, so the Copied Factory could be like the thing that you said, the Copied City, which is something that Adam and Eve made, which could there's like a few different theories where it could be the thing that Adam and Eve made. They could have made a Copied Factory, and then that's what this takes place in. I don't fully subscribe to that one though.
All right, well, let's unpack a little bit of what we have here to get to the Copied Factory. So we do see a few screenshots, very, very Nier-esque atmosphere and color tone and things like that. It looks like a place that has humankind hasn't existed in quite some time. They show off the vending machines, which, as Yoko Taro stated, if you've played Nier Automata, you probably recognize those. And those are probably your teleport checkpoints as you run through the dungeon. if I had to assume.
Yeah.
But then we get to a screenshot, and we'll skip talking about some of the enemy screenshots a little bit. We get to a screenshot that has 2P, which is, you know, the alternate skin that's taken on a life of her own from Soul Calibur. And we have some unlikely familiar faces that were already teased kind of in the current game. In that there are 2 dwarfs from Colusia here, who, when you do their quest now, they mention finding an abandoned factory or an abandoned area full of automata.
Yes. Did they say ancient or?
Yeah,
abandoned?
I think they said ancient. I think they did. I need to find the exact quote.
Yeah.
But they effectively are referencing what they found here.
Right. I read about that because when I was doing that quest, I think I just like skimmed through it, so I didn't pay much attention. So I had to go back and look it up. And the only thing that I couldn't find the whole quest line, but the only thing that I found was that they mentioned that it was an ancient factory. So
yeah. So they've already started setting up for this. They and I know people are actually already talking about that because people were working on dwarf side quests for the Lolly Ho emote and just started finding some of the other lore bits in there. And so it seems like we'll be finding out where they found. Now, the first detail about that is that this is also now clearly on the first. Is the first thing we're locking in. There were so many theories about another shard, about the future, like the Eorzivia that was destroyed effectively, or the Hydaelyn that the source that was effectively like wiped out. No, it is on the first, and because of the dwarfs finding it, very likely in an unseen portion of Colusia.
Mm-hmm.
Are we in agreement that it's probably those things, or is there any debate that it might be not what it all seems? It's Yokotaro, so anything you throw out, we can't dispute, really.
Well, I think it is tied to that quest line because they mention it, and also they were shown in the screenshots, so it has to be tied at least somewhat or even loosely to that quest line. Maybe they'll make it mandatory to do that quest line first, but
they better tell us soon.
Mention it there,
Really?
Yeah.
I think that they'll just acknowledge that you did the quest from before.
Yeah,
like the little nods that they get in some of the dialogue, and
that's what I would hope.
Yeah, because they've been pretty good with the dwarf dialogues and the way that they quest dialogues in general. Like, as someone who was a Lalafell and played through the story, the dwarf role quests, the healer ones, I found that there's different dialogue for being a Lalafell without the helmet, being a Lalafell with the helmet, and of course the normal one of not being a Lalafell. So they're pretty good with dialogues kind of connecting to the player and their actions. So I wouldn't even be surprised to see even Lalafell specific things popping up in this one right here. So
yeah, it makes sense that they're the ones to find it, because if it's the other theory that is the one that I would more so subscribe to, is that it has to do with something that happens at the end of Automata, which
I know exactly where you're going with this.
Yeah, without spoiling it majorly, it's something that happens at the end, and some kind of data is sent out to space. And so if that data landed onto another planet or multiple other planets, it could land on this
Sly. Without spoiling it, there's no way we can explain it any more in depth than that.
I think I know what you're talking about, because
it's difficult. I don't want to. I don't want to super spoil.
Same kind of thing happened in the original Nier, correct?
No.
Okay.
Different thing.
Okay.
But something to that effect. But yes, so something at the end of Automata, there was some type of data that was sent out into space, and it could have landed onto the first or multiple planets even. And so one of them could be on the first. And so because the dwarves are mining, it could have crash landed onto the first, and the dwarves found it. And so that's how we're able to go into there. And it's a copied city, as in data. So maybe we're put into it, or it's a simulation type of thing that we're thrown into.
See, I know exactly what theory you're talking about, and now people who are played Nier are popping up in chat like, what? They know exactly what you're talking about without you saying it if they played it. See, I don't want to believe that, but I know that Yokotaro is crazy, and that, see, the thing is, it's like, oh, he's crazy and he would make it do something like that, but he also wouldn't do what we expect him to do. So, but if we expect it, does that mean he wouldn't do it, or would he do it because it? Exactly. Does he expect us to not expect it, or is it unexpected that we expect him to expect us to expect it, so he doesn't want us to expect it?
Yeah, pretty much.
What?
Like it's so convoluted that like Yoko Taro is a contrarian in the way of like, if you expect something, he doesn't want to do it that way. But also his stories do take at least some logical sense in a timeline so that you could infer certain things. And so that would be something that you would infer. So
yeah, and in this case, you'd be using 14's story and Nier Automata's ending to,
yeah,
as long as he doesn't delete my character. That's all I care about. Just don't delete my character and we're cool.
I don't know. He's done it in both Nier games.
Yeah, don't do that to my character, please. I won't be surprised if if there's a section of it that kicks you back to the main menu and then you click like start game and it continues.
That would be so cool.
I wouldn't be surprised if there's a part that tries to make you think that happened, and then you click start game and it goes forward.
It shows your character in like starter gear.
Yeah.
I
wouldn't be surprised at all.
Like Ulda.
Yeah,
that'd be great.
Yeah. There's one big thing. See, I'm more subscribed to some of this being more integrated into 14, but again, without spoiling its heart, it has to do with the relevance of the element that I've referred to from Nier Automata called the copied city, and that the purpose that city actually, and using it more, just trying to develop what it means from a naming convention, is the copied factory similar in function to what the copied city was.
Mm-hmm.
So or is it, maybe, and then maybe it's a factory that's building a new city. Who knows? Like what yours said, like what your theory has implied in a sense.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of question marks, and it's hard to say that anyone's wrong for kind of thinking something about it, because there's really nothing to go off of.
There's nothing. There's a little bit of like, and maybe this is diving too far in, but the whole Shadowbringer, to preface this, I think this might be the first time where the patch title is a title relevant to not just the MSQ, and the patch art is not just the MSQ.
Were you there for 4.1?
What was 4.1?
Return to Evilise.
Oh, I forgot about that. Well, that kind of strikes something. Strikes through that.
I also like to say
Evilise is kind of tied to MSQ, sort of.
Okay, so then that still ties into what I was saying. So most of the patch titles.
Oh, sorry, it was a Legend Returns. You're right. It was a Legend Returns.
Okay.
And then the art was all Evilise.
Right.
Like this is right now. Yeah.
So then essentially, because Evilise was so integral to the MSQ and so integral to the lore of 14, every time that there's ever been some type of art for a patch or title of a patch, it was always very integral to the MSQ. So if we're assuming that this is integral to the MSQ, there are, and I don't know if I necessarily want this to be true or if it is, but there's a lot of parallels to the Shadowbringer story to Nier, in terms of like, there's two big things. There's the white chlorination syndrome. If you know about, I don't want to spoil a lot, but this is like a plague that happened to Nier and to the world of Nier beforehand. And then there's also the Black Scroll, which is another plague. So in Shadowbringers, you might think of the light that is spreading on the first, and then the black rose that is spreading on Hydaelyn, on the source. So these are kind of like similar and have a lot of parallels drawn between the two of them. And so I've seen theories of saying like the white chlorination syndrome is actually very similar to what the plague of light is like. And then same thing of the Black Scroll is very similar to what the Black Rose is like. So taking those themes and combining them together, you could actually say that you could even from the history and lore that happened from Nier could be taking shape on Hydaelyn and the source as well.
There's a lot of there's way more parallels than that even. I mean, even just looking at the theme of the Sin Eaters, they're all very much holy creatures. They're basically like angels and gods, and then you have Adam and Eve, drawing parallels that could Adam and Eve be Sin Eaters, for example. That like more like Vothri level Sin Eaters, where they're like conscious in a sense, or they have more not morality but more human traits, I suppose. There's actually a lot of parallels, specifically with the first, I feel. While the Black Rose is definitely there, I think the first really draws it out. We're already kind of dealing with that with Eden, so I don't know if they'll go that route. That's the thing. This is the good thing, because my biggest fear with Nier Automata was it was going to feel very out of place with 14, and they've kind of set it up in such a way where it's crafted where it's despite androids being the one thing that people are still kind of like, how did that happen? Everything else is kind of shaping up to be so similar that it kind of just slots in. And it just kind of needs to be explained, but it's all like, oh wow, that actually kind of works and makes sense.
Yeah, it's weird because Automata is definitely very science fiction, but Nier, the game before that, which is it's very heavily tied into, is very fantasy. And so, which is what 14 is more. So the story of Automata is actually based off of a fantasy story. It's just far, far in the future.
Right.
We already have stuff far, far in the future in our game too, though. So,
yeah. And the big difference, I see people talking about collaborations in the chat. Got to remember, this is not a collaboration in a sense like the 15 collaboration or some of the other ones. Collaborations are considered non-canon entries into Final Fantasy 14. This is considered a canon entry into Final Fantasy 14. And knowing Yokotaro's craziness, could be a canon entry into Nier Automata. Wouldn't surprise me. I mean, if Pixar can say Kingdom Hearts Toy Story was canon, then who the fuck knows anymore?
Yep.
Yeah. So we've got a lot to unpack there, and unfortunately there's also not enough to kind of figure it out. But now this means that, Larry, we may need to have you back on after it comes out, because then you can go nuts.
Yeah, I don't want to super spoil because I'm sure a lot of people also playing Nier, getting ready for the patch, which you should, if you're at all interested, you should at least play Automata to enjoy the patch.
It'll be in October.
Yeah, you got time. You could do it in a weekend.
I'll just do my lore reads for Automata, because I've stated before I'm not a big fan of Platinum games, like gameplay from them, so it's hard for me to get through Nier Automata. And I'm playing there's so many other games that I don't want to slot in one that I just don't feel like a strong desire to actually play.
Yeah,
but I'd still recommend it.
Which is fine.
It is a very, very promising and very well received and praised game that others should enjoy.
And then I would say, if you like Automata, then play Nier 1 or watch it.
You want to know? I was going to say a lot of people would say no, actually. The regular Nier, from what I hear, which rhymes, is really like a cult classic kind of thing, where like if most people who haven't played it, if they try to play it now, they're going to hate themselves. Whereas there are people who love it.
I could see it like, definitely like gameplay wise, it's definitely dated.
Yeah.
But story wise, if you cared about a lot the story of Automata, you would care about the story from Nier 1. So,
I mean, you could go as far as Drakengard if you really
really care.
really care.
Babies.
Seriously, fuck the final music section of Drakengard 3.
Just babies, man.
His thing is the babies. It was the song. And that
babies,
last
dude. Speaking of the song, they gave us a teaser.
Right?
We didn't even talk about that. We didn't even talk about the teaser that they gave us for the boss theme. So I've seen it posted on YouTube. I'm sure Square probably has taken it down multiple times at this point. There's that kind of stuff being posted, even with commentary. It's not very, it's just something that is not normally received well. That being said, if it is still around and you can find it, or just go watch the live letter on Twitch or like whenever they upload it to YouTube, it is a wonderful mix of a theme called Weight of the World with a very familiar element thrown in at kind of the peak. And this song for me, it's one of my favorite songs in like any game I've played is actually the Octopath final boss theme. And this is very reminiscent emotionally to me. It's like it's trying to invoke kind of similar like end of the world sort of emotions. And it does that very, very well. So would highly advise the 2-minute, 13-second listen. That is the little teaser they get, even with them talking over it. It's quite fantastic. It's a tear to your eye kind of OST drop, even if you're not 100% committed to Nier or know much about it. It's that good.
That's cool to hear.
Yeah,
because obviously as a Nier fan, it was super like emotional to hear it. But
and then the remix kicks in, and you're like, it's so simple, but it's so brilliant. I could have done that in Audacity, but it wouldn't have been the same. Not quite the same. It's not that simple, but still.
Yeah.
Well, you know what I mean.
Very powerful.
Yeah. It's brilliant. We kind of skipped over talking about some of the enemies. They showed us the little robots with the long spaghetti arm, not even spaghetti arms, but just the long extendo arms with the side plates. They showed us I always call it the what are they called from Doctor Who?
The
Dalek?
Yeah,
Daleks.
Yeah, because I say it's his telephone booth if it became one of those, essentially.
Oh, the TARDIS. The TARDIS.
Well, no, the TARDIS is the name of the telephone booth. If I'm not, I don't watch Doctor Who, so this is very, very like I'm trying very hard to get this right. Yeah, yeah.
But Dalek became a TARDIS.
Yeah, but if the Dalek became a TARDIS, that's what it is. I see
that.
Yeah,
it looked like GLaDOS to me.
No, so that's the very last one. That's the last one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's the giant penis hanging from the sky.
You were talking about the elevator box thing.
Yeah, I was talking about the elevator box. This is a giant penis hanging from the ceiling of a factory.
Right.
What's more interesting is that they only showed the we're assuming is kind of like the motherboard of the factory in a sense. But in the screenshot they show after that, that thing's got two big fucking arms in that factory that ain't fucking around. It's got like a giant saw blade arm that's like on a crank that goes up and down, and it's got like a death claw on the other side.
3 platforms.
3 different circular platforms, and we all know what that's gonna mean. I feel like there's gonna be some pretty nice spectacle here.
Yep.
I'm excited for the mechanics.
I'm excited too.
I
hope they pull this off. I'm not a big I'm not very pro Nier Automata collaboration kind of guy, but I want them to pull it off because I don't want it to feel like it's out of place. And so far, I have a good amount of confidence that they're going in the right direction thus far.
Already, the right direction is that they're making their own models. They're making their own enemies.
Yeah,
that's already a very good sign. They're not just taking enemies from the game from Automata.
We know they will. I won't be surprised if we see the opera singer, for example.
Yeah, and I would love that. But at least the ones that they showed at the stream, at least they're also making their own and putting their own spin on stuff.
Yeah, because they're it's in a different world, and they're trying to emphasize that things couldn't the odds of things being exactly the same just because they're pulling from another game is not super likely.
Yeah,
is what I hope they're kind of going for.
Yes.
All right. Well, unless we want to talk about Yoko Taro joking around. By the way, even though I can't understand what I don't speak the native language, the translations were fucking cracking me up.
Hilarious
from Yoko Taro. He was just like he was like, I thought the 14 team hated us because they never once said, "Hey, you want to do something?"
Yeah.
I was like,
in his bed.
Yeah, he was like, "Oh, everyone else wants to do it, but not you guys." We like you guys though. Oh, hi, yeah. Oh, yeah. No, I wasn't even thinking about it. But sure, yeah. It sounds like a good idea. I'm so glad they asked.
It was about hating handsome people. He's like, oh yeah, handsome guys, I hate them. And sometimes I'll oogle at the pretty girls, and then I'll remember that they probably go home to handsome guys, and so I get sad again.
It's all about money and women, as Yoko Taro himself said. He's like, tell me otherwise. Yeah, he was cracking me up even through the translations. And then of course doing very Yoko Taro thing of being like, I can't breathe in this fucking thing anymore. Just give me a microphone in the back and put my head on the table and that'll be fine. Yeah, that's something that a lot of people who aren't familiar with him found that like, what the fuck?
All the time.
Yeah, that's actually a very normal thing for him. He's very much, he believes games should speak for themselves and not really like, he doesn't really like being interviewed and have his face out there. He doesn't like being like an icon in a sense. So he wears a mask and he's got a lot of reasons. He's a very complex man. So I highly advise, if you haven't watched anything in regards to him and his history in the industry or anything like that, you can find some pretty nice videos or some reads about it on the internet. It's very, very interesting and highly entertaining.
If anything, yes, he's interesting.
Yeah.
If anything.
That's the same thing you said about Sly liking Shatter, I think.
It was so interesting, Sly.
Interesting. Might have been. No, it wasn't that. Shatter, you said shitter. There's something else that Sly liked.
I forget already.
Yeah, it didn't matter. Yeah. Sly, don't look at me like that. I have to see you every week.
You had to see me next week.
I sure do. Oh, the light mode. That's right. Light mode.
Oh, yes. I was like, that's interesting.
Yeah. Okay.
Some bitches.
With that, for the final little bit of the stream, because it took us a couple hours to get through the live letter details with all this. It took us 25 minutes to talk about Ultimate practically on its own. One of the other reasons that I thought to invite Larry, as soon as I was on Twitter and I was like trying to think, who do I want on the show for next week? Larry, you made a formal announcement about something that's in the work for you. So I wanted to give you the opportunity to talk about it, because actually the last show we had you on was a content creation show. So I found that it was pretty fitting that we've already had dialogue about this before, and thus we could probably continue that dialogue with this. So why don't you explain to everyone who hasn't followed your Twitter, hasn't read it, which by the way is on the screen, what it is that you made the announcement for.
Yeah. So new announcement was me and Drac are going to be making our own podcast too for 14. So the big reason was it's something that we can do, that we can hang out every week. So, us being busy adults and, he has a family, I'll be starting a family semi soon, is if you schedule something, then you'll be able to actually follow through and be able to hang out. So we're kind of killing two birds with one stone here, where if we do the podcast every week, we can still hang out and spend time together and just chat and chill, and then also be able to do a podcast and present our ideas that otherwise we don't really have as much of a
platform
outlet to be able to, a platform to be able to express all that. So that was the general idea behind it.
Sly, we've been doing this for a while. I'd say that's relatively close to why we do it every week or every time we can. So I like it. Sly and I just shoot the shit half the time. Half the time we don't care about shit like crafting and whatnot. He makes me care. I'm here for you, Sly, not for the crafting.
I semi care.
I paid someone $40 million to make me all my leaf items. Okay,
like a bitch.
They're all 80, ain't they?
Like a bitch. He ain't doing the hard way. He struggle. He ain't struggle.
He don't struggle.
Yeah. He don't know the struggle.
And I was actually kind of surprised that you hadn't done something earlier, because you're someone people value their opinions a lot, or your opinion a lot, when it comes to a lot of things. And as such, I was kind of surprised you didn't do that earlier, especially you guys just you Drac, Tate. I find like a lot of other members of the community have really solid dialogue, and I just don't get to hear them talk about it as much as I personally like.
Yeah, it's definitely something we've talked about for a while. It was just kind of like, I didn't know if I wanted to commit to a weekly thing. And if I was to do a podcast, I feel like podcasts definitely work best if they're weekly, because as soon as you start doing it, maybe, just sporadically, they don't always work out how you want them to work out. So you really should commit to like at least maybe a weekly or bi-weekly type of thing.
Yeah, Sly and I have moved to we go back and forth between 2 days of the week, and then it depends on the week.
Yeah,
we found that a weekly 14 podcast can be pretty rough.
Yes, I can definitely understand that.
So you're still in the early stage of this. Obviously, we don't have Drac to get kind of his perspective here. He was invited, but unavailable. Man, as you've said, is quite busy, has a family, and can't just commit to something with just a couple days notice. It's not very much. So I'm talking about the general idea of it. What kind of things are you tackling right now in regards to getting it set up? Because I think a lot of people like to know what goes into these kind of things behind the scene. And so hearing about the start of your process as you work towards it, I think a lot of people would probably find that pretty interesting.
Well, the first thing that we really wanted to do was we wanted to do it in person because we're pretty close to each other. It's probably only like 8 minutes away that he could just drive over here or I could drive over to his place. So we thought it would be really cool and a different experience to be able to have the podcast in the same exact place physically. So, but that actually presents its own difficulties, if not actually more difficulties than doing it online, because you have all of the audio and visual difficulties now. So when you set up for yourself, if we're just talking about visually, you just have the one camera and you have the lights just for yourself. When you have two people, you have the light setup and camera setup is completely different, first of all. Then the mic setup is also very different. So I actually had to get completely different mics, which was kind of difficult to figure out what works correctly, because you want to have a mic that won't pick up the other mic. So it actually can get kind of costly depending on what you want to do. So the mic that a lot of streamers would use is what's called a cardioid mic, which I think actually from what I see, you have one of those. So one of those is something that it'll just pick up right in front of it and around it, and it'll kind of like boost it even if you go away from it a little bit. But what you want to have is a dynamic microphone is the other type of name. And what those will do is they'll only pick up sound like right here. So if something's behind it, it actually really won't pick that up much. So we had to get that type of mic, and the whole setup there is a whole extravaganza to figure out how to do it correctly. But once you do, the goal is to be able to sit across from each other, and so you can each speak into your own mic, and that mic that you're speaking into will only pick up you and not the other person. So it was essentially working around all of those difficulties to be able to do it in person, because that's what we wanted to do.
So with that, I mean, that's got to present a difficulty. So about having guests, for example. So
yes, that too.
So yeah, because I'm sure there's now they have to consider. You're talking about audio setup. There's also the video setup, which it sounds like you just want the one camera that captures you both. Is what it sounds like.
We're gonna do two.
Okay, that's
the other thing. Yeah, we're actually going to have a button that we can push. And this is what, if we were a higher quality setup, with employees, which obviously we can't do.
You'd get someone to do that behind the scenes, like the scene switcher.
Yes, the scene switch, like the producer.
Yeah.
That would switch the scenes to whoever's talking. So we're essentially going to try that out ourselves and see if we just push, kind of like push to talk, where we push this button and the camera will go on me if I'm talking, and then Drac will push his button and the camera will go on him if he's talking.
So like a Stream Deck kind of thing?
Yes. Yeah, we're going to use Stream Deck to do that. Exactly.
Okay.
Is there going to be like a neutral state where it just has both of you?
Yeah, we're thinking of having that as well. Right now, I only have the two, but I was going to get a third for both of us. So
it's a lot more effort than I put into this show every week. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah, it's a lot. Exactly like I said, it's a lot to do it in person. It's much more than I thought it was when I was just pitching the idea to him, before we even got into the whole planning it to execute it.
Yeah, we got a lot cut out for yourself going forward. But I'm glad that you're committing to something like that. We always want to see more people making content around Final Fantasy XIV. Right now we're in a bit of a lull period, so having that opportunity to contemplate content coming up is actually pretty advantageous, I feel, in regards to what you're going to develop and whatnot.
Yeah, it's definitely a good time to do it. And like I've said, a lot too, especially what YouTube is, there's just, for anybody else too, it's just you can have as many podcasts or as many video or content creators as you want. and there's just always more than enough to go around in that kind of space.
Yeah, I know when I put out the YouTube, the Twitter, someone was like, tell them to make sure they put it on YouTube because I've got 4 that I watch on YouTube and I need another.
Yeah.
So you guys, if you didn't hear it on Twitter, you're hearing it now. Don't forget to follow Larry on Twitter. He'll be doing his own little shout out here. And to get more information about that, follow Drac as well. So if you enjoy our podcast, if you enjoy Mog Talk, if you enjoy any of the other ones, honestly, if I start naming them, I'm probably going to forget one because there's actually a lot of them and they're all pretty good. And if I start naming them, I'm going to forget one and I'm going to feel bad. So I'm going to avoid that right now. Be sure to check it out. You can always use something more for your morning drive or whatever you're grinding in game or whatever. I know I like to throw these kind of things in the background when I'm doing like grinding in any game, like Borderlands right now. I'll throw like the RT podcast on, for example, during that.
I listen to a lot of podcasts too when I'm doing stuff.
Yeah, same.
Yeah. So that's one more for your list. Is there anything else you want to... Actually, I guess you could do that in your sign-off if you want to say anything else about the show. We'll get to that in a little bit. But if there's anything else you want to say now before we start the sign-off, so you're more than welcome to.
No, I'm good. That's really it.
Excellent. Well, on that note, I wanted to keep this last little section short because we were already a little bit over time. And I'm sure you gentlemen both have things you need to be doing with your lives other than being on State of the Realm. So, you're both like... The food and shit. I gotta go eat. Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking. And a nice beef, cheese, and horseradish sandwich before this. It's excellent. Oh, horseradish. Don't shake your head, Sly. So with that, I'll thank the sponsors and then we'll sign off. So thank you again to SteelSeries. I mentioned them at the start of the show. They are the sponsor for not only my channel, but Stay of the Realm directly. Don't forget about those monthly giveaways. You have to go to the YouTube video and go to the description of it in order to find the giveaway every month. We pull a winner. I announce it here on the show. And then one of you gets to have a sweet new piece of tech. Thinking about grabbing a new keyboard myself because I didn't realize there was a new Apex model for the SteelSeries keyboards until recently. And I just like getting new stuff. So that's what I'm thinking of doing. We also have to thank our patrons. We don't read the names out all the way anymore, but instead they're scrolling in the top right. So if your name's not there, if you haven't seen it at all, and you're on the Patreon, please be sure to let me know that it's not there. I had somebody just contact me about that yesterday, and I made sure to get that fixed for today. We also have our Patrons of Darkness who have gone above and beyond monetarily for quite some time now to support us. So they get the extra little section here because they like to provide us with some art. Considering some adjustments to this and doing something a little bit extra in the future in regards to the section here where we show off some art. But this is Khuja Cross from Jenova. He had somebody make almost a Maple Story-esque chibi thing. We've been showing this up every week because it's the image that I have. And then we have Kurenai, who is still standing next to, I think it's Ethys in this one. I have Sly. I actually can't find yours. I'm sure if I looked harder, I could find it. Why? Why don't you like the one where he's standing next to you, Sly? Why don't you like it? Why?
Because I was just there. I didn't even know he
took
it.
What does that mean? I was just there. Doing? What does that mean? Why you're not proud?
Just there. I wasn't posing or anything. I was just there.
Oh, so you weren't at your best.
I wasn't ready. I wasn't ready for it.
You wasn't ready. Okay. Well, literally, I'm looking where it should be, and it goes right from picture number 11 to picture number 13. So I legitimately don't know where it is. It just disappeared because it's supposed to be picture number 12. I was actually hoping to find it right here. Actually, no. Is this it? Yeah, there we go. There's a Sly picture. That's it for Kurenai. There you go. Looking good, Sly. Looking good. I think you're looking good in that one. That's right there. Beautiful. It's beautiful. I agree. You do have a snazzy outfit on right there. So thank you to all of our patrons. Again, thank you to SteelSeries. We appreciate you for supporting the show every week, as you do. With that, our guests got to go eat. Larry, thank you for joining us. Really glad to have you on. Always a pleasure, my friend.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, why don't you tell everyone where they can find you at if they somehow don't already know?
Yes, I am Larryzaur on everything, on Twitter and Twitch and YouTube's. That's me. And then the new podcast is going to be called Dualcast. So it'll be Dualcast show on all those things. So I'll see you guys around there.
It's too bad it's not triple cast because then you'd be playing Black Mage.
That's true. We would need 3 co-hosts for that.
No, you don't want that. You don't want that.
Yeah, that's too difficult.
It's too much. And then, of course, we have My man who just hates when other people are successful with getting their legendaries. That's it. He just hates it. Don't know why. What's going on, Sly? Where can they find you at? What are you up to?
First of all, Larry, thank you again so much for dropping by and dropping some near knowledge as well. Looking forward to playing next month. Yeah, you can find me at twitch.tv/Slyh, aka Greyfox, Twitter at Slythefox, youtube.com/Velvet Room, Facebook, all those things. Sly, aka Greyfox. Yeah, not that much time left in September, so still doing a fuck ton of Iceborne because I gotta get up in the grinding lands, as we call them. Starting the Somnium Files. It just came out today, but because of the schedule, I'll be playing on Thursday. And then, of course, next week is kind of a half week because we will be in San Diego for TwitchCon. So if you are there, use your words. Say hi. Bite. I might offer you alcohol. I don't know. We'll see.
He might. I've seen him do it before.
Yeah. It's a thing. Happy, where can they find you?
You can find me, Mr. Happy1227, Twitter, Twitch, Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram. All those things, Mr. Happy1227. Enjoying my September right now as I spend way too much time playing Borderlands 3 and trying to get all those Guardian ranks, get through all true Vault Hunter mode, get a few characters up, collect all the legendaries. It's been a hell of a time. And I have been spending so much time that Sly hates me, even though I've been spending more time, so thus I deserve to have more legendaries. He's shaking his head no right now. Because every time we open the chest and he doesn't get something, it's a big fucking deal. But when he gets something, he's like, oh, look, I got something. I was like, cool, man. Congratulations. I get something. He's like, yo, fuck you. You suck. I hate you. So that's what I've been doing for the last few days. And we'll be playing together again Wednesday, September 18th at 9 a.m. Pacific, where I'll be trying to help him finish his campaign because I never stopped playing.
Never did.
Guardian rank 61, man. I'm working on it. I'm going to start leveling my Amara tonight because I need more characters with gun space because my bank is almost full of legendaries and I have no space for them.
Humble brag, why don't you? God damn it.
Sly, when you are level 50 and you turn on Mayhem difficulty on True Vault Hunter mode and one boss drops 6 legendaries, you'll feel the same way.
Yo, is Genji in that game?
I don't want to spoil anything story-wise.
Can I play as Zero?
You can see him.
Shit.
He's there. Yes.
I want to
He's
play.
certainly present. Just play Flak. Flak is cool. That's who I play.
Robot Ninja?
He's a robot with pets. He's a Beastmaster.
Right, that'll do.
He's a Beastmaster, yeah.
Yeah, he can throw racks, and he's got a pet skag that rolls over and pisses on things.
Okay. That'll do.
Yeah. Okay.
Sounds good.
Perfect.
Yeah.
You need help with a campaign, Larry, let me know. Okay. You got it. And a
monkey. Steal all your legendaries.
I don't steal. We play on co-op, not co-opetition. I play on cooperation, not co-opetition. Aloha, stop. Aloha. Now we're wrapping up. You get to say no. All right, he's running. Okay. All right. Well, on that note, we're going to do a very short post show, and we will see you all next week for a show that we don't know what it's about yet, and who knows if it'll even really happen because TwitchCon's going to be busy. So who knows? We'll let you know. Follow us on Twitter, and we'll let you know. And thank you for watching. Thank you again, Larry, for joining us, and we will see you next week, hopefully. Bye-bye.
Bye.
See you next week.